Hi guys, welcome back to Fit Life SD TV, where we're bringing you the science of nutrition and fitness. Today in Coach's Corner, we are going to be going over how your nutrition must match your training. We've done a lot on how to train different types of people with scheduling and all that, but if you don't get the nutrition right, it's never going to work. So stay tuned, we're going to go over all that with you here in a minute. So with nutrition, I like to always go into 3 different categories, and we've got them pre-written out here. We've got bulking, recomp, cutting, and this isn't anything new. Most diet coaches are going to usually put someone in one of these forms, and so we're just going to go into a little bit about how you're going to program that into your client's training. So if you have a lifestyle client, they don't have a lot of physical fitness in their background, a lot of times people are going to automatically say, well, you got to build muscle, so you got to eat big to be big, and they're going to automatically put them into this category. So with a bulking diet, there is a place for it, but I'm going to say it's not for someone in that category, because what that's going to require is eating 250 to at least 500 calories surplus above your maintenance amount. So your maintenance is going to be what your basal metabolic rate is plus your daily activity. So for most men, that's going to be somewhere around 2,500 calories. That's going to be a maintenance, and that's a rough number. For most women, it's going to be around 1,800 calories. Again, body weight, your muscle, that's all going to go into it. So usually with a client, I'll use the Harris-Benedict equation to kind of figure out where their BMR is, and I'll do some estimates to find out where their daily expenditure is, and I'll find out kind of where to put them. So for a lifestyle client, someone who's wanting to work out but you can't afford for them to get fat, there's nothing wrong with putting them in a Recomp diet. So what are you going to get in a Recomp diet? Say you're a man that eats 2,500 calories a day. You're going to try your best to keep them at 2,500 calories a day, keeping their protein high, or their protein at the right amount to build muscle. And in a Recomp diet, most people are going to build muscle and burn fat at the same time. It's going to be a little bit slower, yes. They're going to build muscle. So for a Recomp, that's where most people are going to land that have busy lives. They're, like I say, a lifestyle type client, because you're not starving them. A lot of them aren't used to eating like an athlete where they're just going to eat chicken and broccoli. So there you can find a lot of options to program their proteins, find out what they like that kind of makes them feel like they're having a cheat meal, but not. You can be a little bit more flexible. So a lot of times with a Recomp diet, that's where we'll do a little bit of flexible dieting. If they want to have a Pop-Tart at the end of the day, and we've calculated they have 300 extra calories left, then yeah, they can eat a Pop-Tart. So the Recomp works for a lifestyle client, and the reason why I'm gonna say a Recomp is gonna be the best, because if we put them on a bulking diet and we're fattening them up in the name of building muscle, most lifestyle clients don't understand how that works. They see these Hollywood transformations, they wanna look like Chris Hemsworth. They're not gonna understand when they see themselves getting fatter in the mirror that, hey, there's a process. And then a lot of people will journey to the land of fat and not make it back. So you also gotta worry about that. How good are you at gaining body fat and then being disciplined enough to lose it? So for a lifestyle client, it's perfect to keep them around maintenance. Sometimes they might hit a plateau where they're not really hitting the muscle growth. So what you do is maybe you could bump up, say their calories are 2,500, you could bump them up for a little while, maybe 2,600, 2,700, but you shouldn't have to go so drastic that they start putting on a lot of body fat, because again, the more body fat they put on, the more they're gonna have to lose. You can build muscle and burn fat at the same time. It's a slower process, but for a lifestyle client that's doesn't have time to dedicate to bulking and cutting, it's gonna be a very rewarding process, because they're always gonna see progress. They're gonna see a little bit of body fat drop, a little bit of muscle gain, and for most people that's good. So for a lifestyle client, their nutrition should fall right within there, and that'll give them lots of success. So knowing what a Recomp is and knowing that a bulking diet's not gonna work for most clients like that, when would we find a bulking diet? Okay, so again, a bulking diet is, say you're eating 2,500 calories a day for your maintenance. You're gonna really fatten someone up with about 250 to 500 calorie surplus. So if 2,500 calories is your maintenance, you're gonna be eating about 3,000 calories a day. That's gonna be for a bodybuilder, someone who's already established that they are good at burning fat, they have the discipline, the mental fortitude to stick to a diet and cut the body fat off after they've done a bulking phase. So someone is gonna build a lot of more muscle. If they do have a calorie surplus, they're gonna build a lot of fat also. So again, the more you build of your muscle, you're gonna have more fat, that's gonna be a lot more time to lose that, and that's where you can lose the attention of a lifestyle client, you can lose their motivation. But a bodybuilder, they're motivated because they see the scale going up. A lot of times they don't want to see the scale go down. If they see the scale go down, they get discouraged. They want to see the scale going up, but you got to make sure it's not a placebo. As a coach, you got to make sure that you're not just fattening them up, that you actually see the body composition changing. They are going to be putting on fat, but they want to be putting on muscle with that. So for a bulking diet, that's going to go good for somebody who has 6 months. They want to put on as much muscle as they can because they got to get on stage or they have a photo shoot. And within that 6 months, you're gonna also program in their cutting. So that's where bulking diet. Another place where a bulking diet would fit is if you got a power lifter or someone who is a very heavy strength athlete, okay? Because the higher body fat you have, it is gonna be easier to function. Your mental ability to move heavy weight is gonna be a lot better because you're not fighting hunger. Your body's gonna be a fed state. So a strength athlete that needs to hit PRs on the weight they're moving also is going to benefit from a bulking because more calories is going to equal more strength. If you have someone on a recomp diet or even on a cutting diet and they're a power lifter, they are not going to get stronger, period. And if they do get stronger, it's not going to be to the point that they could. So bulking diet is also going to work good for an athlete that requires a lot of output. A lot of output requires a lot more fuel. So if you have someone in that category and you're trying to get them to shred, you're really setting them up for failure. So bulking diet, good for high output athlete. So the last category that I like to use is going to be the cutting diet. And I use the cutting diet very seldomly. Most of my people can have success without ever doing a single cut. However, if you want to get peeled, you want to be on the beach and look good, you got to get on stage, you have a photo shoot, that's when you're going to do a cutting diet. Now, how does a cutting diet work? Again, we're going to be in a 500 calorie deficit at least. Sometimes some people can go as low as like 1,000 calories, but for a very short period of time. Say you're a bodybuilder and you've been training for 6 weeks to lose body fat and you've been slowly bringing down your calories, but then you got the last 2 weeks you're not there. It's not healthy, but to get to a certain goal, it wouldn't be wrong to kind of ramp up the calorie burning for a short period of time, but you have to be very strategic with it because your performance is going to go down. You're not getting enough fuel, so you shouldn't be hitting new weightlifting PRs. You should be just stimulating the muscle in your workout enough to keep muscles maybe building, but for the most part, you're really trying to maintain muscle. You're not going to build a lot of muscle without a lot of fuel. So in a cutting diet, you want to keep it moderate, 250 to 500 calorie deficit. Every once in a while, very short period of time, you can go more drastic than that, but you are gonna have metabolic adaptation, meaning your metabolism will slow down as it sees drastic numbers fall in your caloric intake. And so if you keep doing that, what's gonna happen is you get to the point where you will have a hard time losing body fat, even if you're only eating 1,000 calories, and that's a man or a woman, I've seen it. So sometimes if someone is cutting, depending on how long the cut is, a cut shouldn't be that long, but if you have a long cut, then you need to have certain things programmed in, like refeeds, diet breaks. And the reason for that is because as we have metabolic you have metabolic adaptation, your metabolism starts slowing down because it sees you're eating less, your body starts trying to conserve more energy. The way you stay ahead of that is maybe have a refeed once a week. Some people have a refeed twice a week. That doesn't mean a cheat day where you're gonna eat beyond a bulking, but say your maintenance was 2,500 and you're cutting on 2,000 calories or 1,800 calories, there's nothing wrong with having a couple days in a week where you eat 25 or maybe 2,700 calories to kind of let your body know that, hey, we're still feeding you, so that you don't have to go so drastic. Because the deeper you get into a cut, it is gonna get harder to lose weight. You're gonna be trying to tap into stubborn fat areas, and we are gonna have to start bringing calories down 1 to 200 calories at a time, or slightly increasing cardio, or doing both depending where you're at. And that's gonna be a challenge in it as its own. So we wanna minimize that as much as possible. So as you start to cut, like I say, it's good to have a refeed once or twice a week, because as you do that, that'll keep your metabolism from slowing down. Eventually, will it slow down? Yes. But you don't want to be slowing down your metabolism prematurely, because then when you get down to 1,500 calories, where you're going to go, what, 1,300 calories, and you do that, 1,000? So no, if you're a man and you can cut around 2,000, 1,800 calories, 2,200 calories, depending where you're at, it's good to try to ride that cut out at that caloric intake as long as possible. And if you're a lady and it's 16 to 1,800 calories, you want to ride that as long as possible, because as you get deeper into cut, like I say, you're gonna have some metabolism slowdown, and the more we can minimize that, the less we'll have to bring calories down and minimize the suffering. So is there gonna be a little bit of suffering in a cut? Depends how far you wanna go. If you wanna go to beach body, probably not a whole lot, but if you wanna go to stage ready, single body fat, digit numbers, yes, there's gonna be a little bit more suffering. So again, you want to keep your calories as high as you can while still losing weight, and just cut them down as you can so that your body can still function. Again, you're not going to be building a whole lot of muscle in a cut, if any at all, but you're trying to maintain muscle. And that's where your cutting nutrition has to match. So if you have someone trying to bulk and you got them on a cutting calorie type nutrition plan, it's not going to work. They're going to be lethargic, they're going to be tired, they're going to be getting weaker in the gym. So if someone's trying to bulk up or get stronger, you have to feed them at least some kind of a recomp or bulking style diet. That way they can continue to get strong and build muscle. Cutting is reserved for when you're really trying to just not build any muscle at all anymore, and just really knock down whatever body fat you have left as soon as possible. So these are the 3 areas that I like to put people in. Again, however they're training, there's a lot of different training styles. If you're doing powerlifting, bodybuilding, you know, all of these things are gonna matter how you structure your calorie intake. But again, you have to have it matched, because if you have someone set up with the wrong nutrition plan and it doesn't match the way they're training, it's gonna be a failure. So if you have a coach and you have a nutritionist, great. If your coach is your nutritionist, that's even better. But if your coach is having you train for strength and you should be here, but your nutritionist is saying, I want you to look peeled, and he has you here, both of them are going to be wondering why you're not getting the results. But if they're on the same sheet of music, then flawlessly you should be able to bulk, recomp, or cut. If your training matches your nutrition, I'm gonna say 99% of the time, you will not have a problem getting to your goal as long as you structure it correctly. So with that being said, we can go a lot deeper, but we'll go on forever. So if you have any questions, just leave one in the comments. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. We'll have more on this in the future.